David Viscott, and welcome back. You know, sometimes I look at this computer screen and I wonder, is that really true? Are these really real calls? And they always are. I'm always amazed at the variety of problems that people have. And what's astonishing is that at the heart of all of these wild or bizarre or unusual problems are simple feelings that can be understood as hurt not being expressed at the time it should be. Who's that?
Okay, we have Rachel on line 9, and she's got a high school crush on someone.
Okay. Rachel.
Hello?
Hi, Rachel. How old are you?
I'm 16.
16. Yeah. What can I do for you?
Well, okay, I've always had a crush on my gym teacher at school, and I've always, had a crush on him. We know him. I have a good friendship with him. My parents know him, and I went to babysit for him one night. Well, one, I,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to do now. I don't.
What happened?
I
I couldn't hear a word you said.
You didn't hear me?
No, you went under. You babysat for him, and what happened?
I ended up, I sex with him.
You had sex with him.
Yeah.
You mean when he took you home?
No, I went to babysit for him, and there was no one at home.
Not even the baby.
No.
He had set it up.
Well, I guess so, but I was thinking that then. I don't know.
What were you thinking?
Well, at first I was like, maybe I was kind of flattered because I'd always had such a crush on him. I didn't think it would happen. I just,
And what happened after that?
and one thing led to another. I don't know. I wasn't thinking, and I don't know how I could have done this, but I did.
And after that, what happened?
Went home. I haven't, it was weeks ago, and I haven't been to school since. I don't know. I tonight was sick. I don't know. I can't face him. I haven't told anyone. I don't know what I'm going to do, how I'm going to go to school. What am I going to do if I go to school? I don't know what to do.
Do you understand the implications of this?
Implications?
Yep.
No.
You understand that this is considered, you're considered underage?
Well, I never even thought about it.
Do you understand that?
Now that you brought it up.
Now, what does that mean when you're considered underage?
I don't know.
This is considered statutory rape.
I didn't look at it like that because it's not like he's forced.
But he took advantage of you. How old is
How old is he?
he?
27.
And you didn't feel you had any control over the situation?
Well,
Is he married?
yeah.
Go ahead.
And I was going to babysit for it, but no one was there. I didn't think I was being taken advantage of. First I got there, I'd always had a crush on him. And, he just wasn't.
Are you hurt?
I don't know what
Let's talk about what you're feeling.
I don't know what.
Let's say you're confused, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the feeling you have right now, how would you describe it? Pleasant or painful?
Both.
How do you mean?
Well, I don't know. No, it didn't hurt me at all. I was willing. I let it happen. So now I just don't know how I'm going to face him or anything.
You think he won't think well of you because of that?
I don't know.
What is your fear, is what I'm questioning.
Well, that I'm never going to be able to go to school or talk to him or
He's the one who should be afraid of you.
well, maybe that's so, but
Because if anyone found out about it, he'd lose his job. Right?
I guess.
Well, you have to start thinking about it. Because you have to take the power that you have and decide what you want to do.
Yeah.
He hurt you. You are protected by the fact that you're a student.
Yeah.
You're protected by the fact that you're underage. You're protected by the fact that he's a teacher in whom you had trust. But what?
Right, but when like I said, he didn't force me or anything.
Yeah, but the point is, the law says that you're innocent.
Yeah.
He called you over to the house to babysit, and there was no one to babysit. Right? He set you up to take advantage of you. That's what he did. He did a very bad thing. He could go to jail for that. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
All right. So the power is with you. Don't be afraid of him.
I'm not afraid of him. I'm just so mixed up.
I know, because he did a bad thing to you.
Well,
Do you want to have an affair with him and have him leave his wife and marry you? Is that what you want?
No.
You don't want that at all, do you? What you wanted is to fantasize about him. You didn't want to have sex with him. You wanted to have sex with him, but you didn't really want to, right?
Right.
Right. And he knew that, and he took advantage of that. A
But-
lot of 16-year-old girls have crushes on their teachers.
But when I fantasized, but then I mean, it's like I wanted it to happen. But
I
then,
know, but you didn't put yourself in a situation where it would happen. He put you in a situation where it happened, where he took advantage of you. If it were up to you, this would never have happened. Wouldn't that be true? You would never have set it up so that a friend of yours went babysitting with you when you went over there and took the baby so that you could be alone with him. You would never think of a thing like that, would you?
No, but
Because
I might
that would be sneaky.
think of it.
But you wouldn't do it
Right, but see,
because it'd be.
it's like there's always I've always thought maybe you like me or something.
Of course,
but
that's.
then I thought, oh, it's just my imagination. But I mean more than
I
just
understand.
like as friends.
I understand, but that's just a fantasy. And he could have had the fantasy too. Okay? I think a lot of 16-year-old girls are adorable. But they're out of reach. You don't do that. It's not what you do. It's wrong. And he took advantage of your innocence. You have to know that. Your feelings are not uncommon. There are a lot of other girls who feel the same way, right?
Yeah.
And if he took advantage of them, he would be doing an injury to them by reading their feelings. Because a 27-year-old man knows when people have a crush on him because he's been around. All right, now, what are you going to do about this? You have to go to school.
Right.
And if you cannot go to school because of what he did, then he's damaging your education and you're going to ruin your life.
Well, I know I have to talk to my parents. I'm going to do that. Maybe
Okay.
just tonight.
I think you need to talk to your mother.
Yes, I will.
And you talk to her first.
I will.
What are the chances of you being pregnant?
I don't think really, because I am supposed to get my parents tomorrow. I always
that's what you have to be concerned with.
Right.
I would tell your mother. Okay. This man was not nice to you. This man raped you. Even if you were willing, he took advantage of you. And your innocence allowed you to go along with it because you were flattered. He seduced you.
I feel like, I don't know, like I did something bad. I feel guilty.
I know. And that's what he's using to silence you. Talk to your mother. Bring this out in the open. A bad thing happened to you, and you don't deserve to suffer. Because the emotional impact that this is having on you by making you feel guilty is lowering your self-esteem, and that will end up in lowering your grades, lowering the way you feel about yourself, change the way you feel about men. You've got to take over the power and do something about it.
Well, it doesn't, when you say it's rape, it doesn't seem like that. It wasn't,
It doesn't make any difference whether I say it that way or not. That's how the law feels about it.
no, but
And that's how the school board would feel about it. And that's how his wife would feel about it. See, you feel guilty for falling in love.
I feel, I don't know.
You feel that you contributed to it.
Yeah, and
But the point is,
I feel guilty, but then again, I feel maybe good, but I don't.
you feel flattered, but you don't feel flattered.
Yeah, I feel kind of, I don't.
You feel taken advantage of.
It's not, but that's the thing, I just don't. I mean, I do, but I don't know.
Do you think you led him on?
No. Well,
Do you think you seduced him?
no,
Okay. Tell your mother.
I will.
Okay. She needs to know, because you need someone who loves you, standing up for you and helping you understand that you shouldn't feel guilty about this. It was a setup, and you got caught.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night. You're welcome.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You see how it works? When you're innocent, the seducer uses your feelings to make you believe that you're guilty. A terrible crime. You don't even have the right to protest. We'll be right back. David Viscott, and welcome back. You know, when a person is innocent, they make all kinds of excuses for why the injury they suffered is minimal. Because an innocent person doesn't want to take responsibility for defending themselves. And that's the betrayal of innocence that is the most difficult. Because the innocent person doesn't know that they have a right to say no and stand up for themselves. And the innocent person doesn't know what seduction really is about.
And she was so young, too.
That was a very young 16-year-old. That was a 14-year-old 16-year-old.
Okay, we have Mark on line 4, and he wants to deal with a conflict in his life.
Mark.
How you doing?
Good, Mark.
I talked to you about 3 months ago about my brother. Yeah.
Oh, yes, in Jackson.
Yeah, and I was just calling to thank you because I finished selling law school in the 16th. And what's ironic is that Monday morning I'm going into Superior Court in Los Angeles to file a writ for behalf of the ACLU defending the right of the Klan to protest, to exist, in fact, you know. And had it not been for my talking to you and dealing with you, I would not be able to do that.
Tell me what that feels like.
Oh, man. It really stays down. See, because, like I told you, I could have went in tax law but I felt like I could do a lot more good for dealing with this what they still do. And what enables me to do that is I feel like it won't always be dealing with this type of thing.
Well, I mean, how many times in your life you're going to be dealing with the Klan? To have this as your first, your brother, you say, was killed by the Klan.
Yes. Nation, but I can. It's kind of hard. It's just really hard. But in order to believe in America, you have to believe in the Constitution.
Do you believe you have a case?
Well, yeah.
Do you believe the Klan is in the right?
I believe they have a right to protest.
Do you believe that they are in the right in this case before the court?
Well, yes, right. Yeah. According to the law, I believe. According to the law.
And do you speak with members of the Klan?
No. No, I don't.
So who has that in place?
That's the thing. The lawyer who's going to actually be arguing the case, okay? I'm working on the legal brief because they won't deal with directly with Afro Americans or any type of but it's kind of ironic because that's why they still exist though.
I don't know why you wouldn't have a case to force them to deal with you.
Well, I guess I could, but
I mean, if you're going to carry this out, why not carry it out? I mean, force them to deal with you as counsel.
Well, you know what? I thought about that, Dr. Viscott, but I think then that I would probably, I think what enables me partly to be able to do it also is the fact that I can sort of like hide.
What is in this for you personally? I mean, what keeps you from asking to be taken off the case because of a conflict of interest? I mean, you could reasonably
yeah, I could, and I think what's personally in this for me is that I think is part of my healing process to be able to face it.
I think that's good. But what if they lost the case and they appealed the case on the grounds that there was a prejudicial staff member who subverted their legal defense because of a hidden agenda that you had regarding prior prejudice against them?
That was one issue I thought about, and in fact, when I first was working on the brief, I was still in school, and I thought about actually not putting my best foot forward, but they could not see the case. It is the ACLU case. It's not the Klan case. They're not the litigants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they really have no say whether we win or lose. But the reason I decided not to get off of it is because I think I have to be able to deal with it. I mean, Martin Luther King was killed too, but his family does not deal with civil rights issues now because, he's dead. So I feel like in order to fully live my life, that I need to just deal with life and I feel like I owe it to my brother to become the best that I can and deal with whatever's given.
I think that's noble, and I think it's right, and I also think it's not necessary to put yourself through it if you don't want to. You are not going to be seen in anyone's eyes as less able, less noble, and less intelligent by saying, I've proven to myself that I can do it, but I don't want to be in it anymore. You are free to go on or off that case as you see fit.
I agree with you, but I want to thank you. It was my talking to you the first time that really enabled me to be able to deal with the whole thing, to deal with even thinking about, um, I'm sorry, be able to deal with thinking about having
You know,
Caucasian identity.
I think you crossed over the river. I think you're on the other side of your self-confidence. I think you can do just about anything you want to do. I don't think it's necessary to prove it unless you feel you have to prove it still. And if you want to stay with this, you may do so, and I'm certainly not a person who's going to tell you what to do with your life. But know this. There comes a time in life where you can say, of course I can do it, I know I can do it, but is it worth it to me to have to prove that I can do it if it's something that I really don't feel like I want to do? You should do what you want to do. I think you've proven yourself enough, and we all know the merit of your worth and the quality of your character. That's as high as it gets.
Thank you very much. And if you ever need a lawyer, you call me. Because you have my number on file.
I'm sure I do.
Thank you.
And I'll talk.
Okay.
You take care.
Bye-bye.
The things people go through, isn't it amazing? And they come out, in spite of all of the suffering, to still have the ability to give and to carry something forward in the world.
He's certainly incredible, I
Yeah.
think. Let's go to the next call.
What do we have?
I have Roxanne on line 12 with her son Scotty, and she has some concerns.
Roxanne and Scotty.
Yes.
You're Roxanne.
Right.
How old are you, Roxanne?
33,
How old is Scotty?
11.
Is he on the same line or on a different line?
He's on a different phone.
Scotty, you there?
Yeah.
Hi, can you see me?
No,
You don't have a television set near you?
it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Okay. What's going on, Roxanne?
We're having problems with Scotty. He's angry at his brothers all the time. Constantly got to go up and get him.
Since when has he been angry?
I'd say a lot over the last year.
What happened a year ago? What changed?
I saw there's a lot of problems between me and my husband.
That was a year within the year?
It was about a year and a half.
Okay, that would be right. And what are the problems between you and your husband?
Oh, well, he was seeing another girl, sort of. They were just friends. That's it.
Okay, so there was a lot of hurt in the household. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. And then you say Scotty's behavior changed.
Right. I went into a deep depression and couldn't find affection too. I don't know.
Okay, I'm sure that's true. Scotty?
Yeah.
You've been hearing what we've been saying, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tell me what that means to you. Well, your mom said that your dad, and that she was having problems with your dad.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you? Can you speak up?
I said it's good.
It's true, but how did that feel to you when they were having problems?
Very happy.
Sad and lonely, and I can hear it in your voice. What does it feel like to feel sad and lonely? What is it like for you?
Like some husband. I just want to fix myself.
You want to hurt yourself?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
You don't know? But it's a bad feeling of wanting to hurt yourself?
Yeah.
And you take it out on your brothers? You crying now?
Yeah.
Why are you crying right now?
I just sad. But I was remembering.
And what are you remembering? You hurt yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you hurt yourself?
I used to try so different
You try to choke yourself.
Yeah.
With what?
with me.
With a chain?
Yeah.
You must feel very angry at the way you feel, huh?
Yeah.
And what hurt are you suffering, Scotty? What hurts most? You see, if you're hurting yourself, it must mean that you feel guilty, huh?
Yeah.
And if you're feeling guilty, it's probably because you're angry at someone you don't feel good feeling angry at, right?
Mhm.
Maybe your mother? Maybe? Maybe your father? Yeah. More him than mother? Sometimes. Okay. Let me talk to Mommy for a second. Okay. Roxanne,
Yeah.
how did that feel to hear your kid talking?
Made me feel bad.
Yeah.
Helpless.
Okay. Where is your husband right now?
He's at work.
What does he do?
He works at a gas.
Roxanne, you and your husband have to get it together.
Yeah, we kind of got everything worked out now.
No, you don't. You don't have it worked out at all. Your son is so angry and so hurt that he's self-destructive. And I don't feel, speaking with you, that you're over your depression. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So you don't have it together, isn't that true?
Right.
Okay. And your husband doesn't sound like, from the conversation and just from the feel of his family, I don't get the feeling that peace has been made between the children and himself. Right?
Between the kids and himself?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess not.
Okay. So when you say you're getting it together, that's a wish, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not reality, is it?
No.
So this family's in a lot of trouble and a lot of pain. And because of what Scotty's going through, you have to do something about it. Have you people spoken to anybody about this?
We went to a couple sessions with a psychologist.
And did that help?
The kids would talk. And me and my husband a couple of times. I don't know. It didn't seem to work.
Okay, so it didn't help. You need to try again, maybe with another psychologist. You know, if it doesn't work with one, you can't say, well, it didn't work.
Now we can't afford it.
Well, you've got to work out something because you can't afford not to. Because you have a child who's choking himself with chains.
And he uses the belt and his house coat.
And this is an age in young boys where they can often make a terrible mistake that cannot be reversed. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for Scotty's life, you must do something about this now. This is a psychiatric emergency. You have a depressed 11-year-old. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
This is not about you or your husband right now. Your son is in danger. I want you to follow up on this as soon as possible. You will never forgive yourself if you make money the issue. Do you understand that? You going to do something about this?
I'll try.
What do you mean you'll try?
It's kind of rough now.
Well, it's not as... Trust me. This is the first priority of your life. You have a child who's trying to hurt himself in a way which is the most unforgiving way and very typical of the pre-teenage, pre-adolescent youngster suffering from guilt. Often do something like this that's irreversible. Is Scotty on the phone?
Yeah.
Scotty, get off the phone. I'll see you later, kid.
Bye.
Bye-bye. He can't hear me, right? Hello?
He's hung up now.
All right. Youngsters hang themselves. And your son is showing some of the telltale signs. I want you to step into this with all the force you have as a parent. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to get you afraid, but I have to cut through your denial now. And you have to talk to your husband and tell him you talked to me. And you've got to go see someone with this kid, and this kid needs to be in treatment. And you need to be in treatment again. And probably your husband. I can't afford not to. What more can I tell you?
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Go in the other room and give him a kiss and tell him that you love him and that it's going to get better. And that you understand he's hurting. You must do that now. Because I don't know what's going on in his head. Okay?
Okay.
And tell him it's going to get better. That you're going to follow my advice.
Okay.
Will you do that right now?
Yes.
Okay. Let me know how this works out.
Okay.
Okay. Amazing, huh? Children pick up everything. They don't miss anything. They may not express it in words, but they act out. And children have a way of acting out precipitously. And sometimes there's no ability to correct that acting out. We'll be right back. David Viscott. Now we're talking about Scotty and Roxanne, and you must know that we feel that this is one of the saddest and most urgent calls we've had all year. And when a child is in this kind of stress, and the parent says, "I'll try," I'm obliged to cut through that try and make it into "I'll do." So if I seemed a little pushy, I want you to understand why.
You're right, that was an urgent call, though. He was reaching out. Okay, we have Helen on line 3, and she's feeling devastated.
Helen.
Yes, good morning, David.
Good morning, Helen. How old are you, Helen?
I'm 50.
Oh.
Yeah, midlife crisis,
I
right?
don't know. I just felt the deflation.
Well, I'm very deflated.
Yeah. Go ahead, tell me more.
Well, excuse me. My lover and I have been together 6.5 years, and it's not been a real smooth relationship. At times when we first got together, it was like I was going through chemotherapy and I was going through radiation treatment. And I told her at that time, I may not be as special as you want. She's 15 years younger than I am. And our relationship went on from there, whereas we got into some heavy arguing and things like that, and calling each other names and being very angry. And what happened in the beginning was her ex-lover called me and said, well, once Deborah gets on her feet, she's going to leave you. And I let that seed be planted. And then periodically throughout a relationship, her ex-lovers continued to call her. And I keep asking Deborah why she allows this to continue. I get upset, I get jealous, and I'm wondering what's going on. And every time I ask, it's like, it's none of your business. What I do is none of your business. And I feel devastated by that. I say that, we're in a partnership.
No, you're not.
Okay.
That's the first delusion.
Okay.
This is no partnership. This is a tentative, insecure woman who cannot stop playing the field in her own mind. Whether she plays it out in reality or not, it's someone who cannot commit to anybody.
You're exactly right.
Okay.
She has not made a commitment to
Or
me.
never has, never
No,
will.
No, and that's what's devastating.
What's devastating? What's devastating is none of this. What's devastating is that you knew this.
You're right.
And that you knowing this exposed yourself to her in the most vulnerable way, as if she had said, I commit to you.
Yes.
Why did you do that?
I thought that would show her that I really love her and want her in my life.
She doesn't care.
I know that now.
Well, you knew it then. Now, wait a second, Helen. Put your tears away for a moment because
Okay.
it's lesson learning time.
Okay.
I mean, you've known all along that this hasn't been working.
Yeah.
You've known all along that you are coming from desperation and trying to win her love by going 3/4 of the way, if only she'll just lift a little finger.
Yes.
And then she never lifts the finger.
Yeah.
And you get furious at her. Why? The answer is she doesn't love you. She has never loved you. She's never loved anyone. She needs people to give to her constantly, and you knew that all the time.
But she tells me that she loves me.
And it
she
works.
tells me that she'll make a commitment.
And it works.
Yes, and I
Because-
believe it.
But she's just manipulating you. And she's manipulating you by your own desperation.
Okay. I mean, I've jumped through hoops. She says I'm not sexual enough. I say, well, let's be sexual. She says no.
No. The point is, it doesn't have. Whatever you say, she'll find the opposite to disagree with you.
Okay.
The answer is she's just controlling you.
Yes.
And she's controlling you out of your desperation and loneliness.
Yes.
If you didn't need her, she wouldn't be able to gain a toehold in your consciousness. But because you've needed someone else to feel complete,
Yeah.
and you feel empty by yourself, she had the ability to and leverage to do what she wanted with you.
Yeah.
All right? Forget her
Okay.
for a moment. Let's talk about reality. Reality is you're 50 years old, and you're acting like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
Time has come to grow up.
Okay.
How are we going to do that?
I'm going back to therapy right now, and I'm just needing my friend's support. And like, if she wants to manipulate her way back in, it's
Hey,
just
don't
a
count on
now.
her for anything.
Well, I get very weak when she wants to come back.
Well, don't just say at the moment you're not good for me.
Okay.
Can you say that?
Yeah.
At the moment you're not good for me.
Yeah.
I need to figure out whether I want you in my life or not. You need to be able to say that.
Okay.
Because all you're saying is I need you, I need you, I need you. And when the need speaks louder than the real want, you have no choice but to allow her to manipulate you.
Okay.
It's not the way to travel, and you deserve better than that, even if you don't feel you do. Your wants are what is important. Your needs are what rule you. Your wants have to be clear. And you have to want what is best for you. Often what we need is what we think we really have to have to make us complete. It's never true. Stay tuned. There's more about you coming up. David Viscott, and welcome back. Let's see how many calls we can get in. Do you think?
Okay, let's take Bob. He's on line 5, and he's having dangerous thoughts.
Bob, can you speak up, please?
Yes. This is Aaron.
Aaron?
Yes.
Okay.
I was wondering, what is the cause of selfishness?
What is the cause of selfishness? How old are you?
17?
Are you selfish?
No.
Whose selfishness are you concerned about?
A friend of mine.
Tell me about it.
I dated her for about 5 months, and then we broke up, and she said that she admits that she's selfish, and she says that this is something she's learned from her parents.
Well, sometimes you can learn that, but basically one of the main causes of selfishness is insecurity, and it's the feeling that you won't get enough for yourself unless you take it all. It's like greediness. It's the belief that you don't have everything you're going to have, and you don't believe you're going to be able to get it because you're not worth it.
Okay. She said that it was her selfishness that caused her insecurity. Is that?
It's her insecurity that caused her selfishness. But the selfishness makes the insecurity worse because when she looks at herself and sees herself as selfish, she doesn't think she's a good person.
Okay, so she sees it as a problem, but yet she's not willing to do anything.
Well, she may be willing to do something about it, but the point is sometimes it takes a while for a person to grow up, and selfishness is just a cover. So, are you looking for her to be your girlfriend?
No, I was wondering what I can do to help out.
Not a lot. Just tell her you like her as a person, and when she's selfish, point it out and say, you don't have to act this way. You can act in an unselfish manner. Okay? And just point that out to her. Okay? That was easy enough. What do we have?
Okay, Paula on line 9, and she's falling apart.
Paula.
Hello.
Hi, Paula.
Hi.
How old are you?
31.
What's wrong?
Well, I got myself in trouble.
How so?
I started having a lot of financial difficulties.
What kind?
Well, it started out that my brother and I bought a house together,
Mm-hmm.
and then he decided he didn't want to be a part of it, so he kind of just left me with the bag. And of course, I'm the oldest and always the most perfect, that's supposed to hold everything together and do everything right.
You're making an excuse for something.
I know. And what happened is I got caught up in a job with a lot of abuse, and then at the same time, what I did was I embezzled money.
You got in a job with a little abuse,
And
which meant that you were hurt at the job, so you felt justified in taking the money. That's how you. That's
I
what
felt justified, but yet at the same time,
Yeah.
you know, I knew it was wrong.
Yeah, I know that. But what you're saying is the abuse. It's interesting to see the dynamics. Your brother bailed out. You said, I had to be the strong one. You took a job with abuse, and the abusiveness made you feel hurt. So in the anger that you felt almost justified in taking the money, although you knew it was wrong. How much money did you take?
Sort of, you know. I
How
even
much
wanted to get caught, you know. I mean, I left everything traceable. I didn't take anything out of the way.
You even wanted to get caught?
Well, you know, I left it there. I exposed it. I didn't even hide it.
Oh, so you really felt trapped in your business agreement with your brother. How much money did you take?
Oh, it wasn't from my brother. It was from my job. I was a bookkeeper.
I understand. But you felt trapped in the deal that your brother abandoned.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And my boyfriend is an extreme perfectionist and saw me as strength as power. And
Okay, so the reason you got caught, or you set yourself up to get caught, is that you were feeling weak and you wanted someone to know that you were imperfect. How much did you steal?
I don't even know.
Oh, take a guess.
I'm guessing like about $5,000, maybe. Even that, maybe 7 at the most. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not even sure exactly when the first time was.
Oh, well, you've got to start getting in touch with that, because that's going to be very difficult. You've covered it with so much emotional denial that you're having difficulty with this. So when you were caught, and now what?
Well, this happened in October, and of course I was fired. And today I received the letter, you know, that I have to go to court to enter my plea.
Okay.
When it happened, when I was going, even before it happened, before I got caught, I had a lot of suicidal feelings for escape. I went through a collapse at the time.
What does that mean?
I lost control of myself, to be able to handle anything or talk, or, you know, I went through an extreme stutter and talk, and I couldn't function. Excuse me,
Okay. Do you have a lawyer?
no, I don't. Not right now. I have to wait.
Well, what plea are you going to enter?
I've been told that I'm not guilty, and then
You've been told by whom?
when I called the public defender,
What did the public defender say?
they told me to plead not guilty and request a public defender, but they wouldn't speak to me until then.
All right, so that's what you're going to do. And, you know, the truth is, on listening to your story, there are a lot of psychologically extenuating circumstances here.
I've been going to COVA meetings, and a group therapy.
Yeah, but that's not nearly as important in some way. Well, it might be, in fact, because I'm not here to help you structure a defense, but here you are, coming from a dysfunctional family, made to feel like you're the one who has to hold it together, holding in feelings of resentment towards parents, losing a home with all of its symbolic value, having to bury the anger at your brother once more, and feeling so desperate and confused over your life slipping away, with a boyfriend who's perfectionistic and expecting you to meet unrealistic standards of behavior, that without even being completely aware of when it started, you just started dipping in, and you did it in a way that was so obvious that you were leaving tracks to be found out. You wanted to be rescued from your situation.
I want out.
I know. And it sounds as if what you may have been doing may have been acting out the anger at that has been present in you all your life, trying to set up a situation where you would get caught, found out, and punished. But punished for what? For the crime? I don't think so. I think you're looking to be punished for the anger at your brother. And I wonder if that brother was a brother who was physically or mentally abused by your parents.
Extremely, my mother is
And
very abusive.
And I wonder if your anger at that brother made you feel like your mother is angry towards him as your mother felt. And that may have caused you to have enormous feelings of guilt and the belief that you know better than your mother. And the wish may have been to punish your mother by getting caught for a crime of hating your brother the way your mother did.
I don't know. It's kind of confusing.
But does this make sense?
I'm very angry with my mother. I mean, the circumstances keep changing on and on.
Yeah, but do you understand what I'm saying? You found yourself angry at your brother for abandoning you.
I feel myself angry at everybody.
Yeah, and that what you were doing is you got caught as a way of punishing yourself for your anger. It sounds like there are extenuating psychological circumstances. This sounds like one of those crimes that's motivated more by psychological reasons than by the wish for the money itself. Anyhow, I would plead not guilty. I would speak to the lawyer. I'd have the lawyer get a tape of this show and replay it. And I would start thinking of yourself as a person who has come of age in life, and the time has come now to start resolving some of these old conflicts so that you can be free of the anger that has taken over your life. What an evening, Arlene, huh?
All kinds of calls, David.
It's just amazing that, it's almost like we've never heard the same call twice.
Especially tonight.
Tonight, all this difference. Anyhow, I'm going to see all of you next week, so I want you to take care of yourself. Tell people when they hurt you, at the time they hurt you. Come on, don't hold it in. I want you to be emotionally free. You take care.
You may wish to contact the Viscott Center at 1-800-426-4432. The center is open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Private consultation is available for a fee.